Hi guys, it's Tracy. It's Friday and I've had some major technical difficulties. So thank you guys for being patient. I'm trying to get this on YouTube so that I can duplicate this training in other places like Faithfully Fit Academy. My hair's still wet. And okay, great, I'm on. So I appreciate your patience. All right, instead of waiting for a lot of you guys to jump on, I'm just gonna get right to it because it is Good Friday and I know a lot of you have things going on with your families and I wanna honor that. So if you did not watch my Instagram stories from, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago when I did the training on Instagram stories, that's a great first place to start. Hi, Kim. Because I think it's important that you as a coach, or this is going on YouTube, so this could be somebody who's watching from another MLM. It really doesn't matter what your business is, but if you are trying to grow your network, people need to get to know you. And Instagram stories is a great way where they're getting quick 15-second snippets of you. So my advice to a brand new coach, hey Amanda, my advice to a brand new coach is get really comfortable with your Instagram stories. Amanda and Dina are on. Hi guys. Keep posting questions as you have them and I'll try to answer them. Get really good with your Instagram stories, and then as you're getting good with your stories and you're working your geos and you're finding new people to have conversations with, now your goal is how do you grow your following? Because the more and the quicker you grow your following with the right person, the more eyeballs you're gonna get on Instagram stories as Instagram stories starts to get more and more prevalent. A lot of people, believe it or not, still don't even know Instagram stories exist. A lot of people see those little circles in their Instagram handle, but they don't click on it because they don't know what it is. So the good news for you is that Instagram is growing. Instagram Live is new. I'm going to talk about that for a second. But the purpose of this training today is to help you guys understand how to go about building a following on Instagram. Now, before I get into any details about that, I just want to mention the caveat that I have been coaching for 3.5 years and I have been a Facebook girl. My primary focus has always been Facebook with a presence on Instagram. So everything I'm about to train you on, I am not an expert. I am learning as I go. I am like the brand new coach who has 40 pounds to lose and I'm like, hey guys, come with me as I learn this. So by no means am I the expert, but I have spent a lot of time training myself and watching YouTube videos from coaches and other people in the industry that know Instagram really well, and I'm trying what I'm learning. Also, keep in mind, because Facebook is my jam and Facebook is what I know, and just as the algorithms on Facebook are constantly changing, the algorithms in Instagram are constantly changing. So it's safe to say that this training 6 months from now will probably be outdated. Just like 6 months ago, the popular thing for your Facebook algorithm was to post at night and get as many people to comment immediately. And now the algorithm is wanting to see conversations in your thread. So it's constantly changing, and it's our job, if we're gonna use social media to grow our business, to stay on top of that, okay? So let's talk a little bit about how to grow a following on Instagram. So you're mastering stories, you're getting braver, you're doing 8 to 10 stories a day, you're learning geotags, you're using some hashtags, and now you are at a place where you're like, okay, I'm sort of at a standstill. I'm having 50 people watch my stuff a day, or I'm having 200 people watch my stuff a day, but it's been a few weeks and it's not growing. That means that you need to start growing your following. So if you've gone through Faithfully Fit Academy, one of the very first things that I ask you to do is make a list about 10 things that describe you. Go back to that list. And if you haven't done it in a while, do it again because it's constantly changing. When I first started as a coach, I was like nursing. I was up 3 times a night with a baby. I had toddlers in the house. And 3.5 years later, my life has changed. My kids are changing. My interests are changing. I'm moving from one phase of life to the next. So my hashtags, my interests have to change as well. So if you were to ask your husband or your best friend or another coach on your team, hey, how would you describe me? What are some things that you see me being interested in? What are some things that when you see those things, you think about me? Amanda is on here. She's a brand new vegan. Dina is on here. She's got two toddlers. Kim, you're on here. You and I both have a special needs child, right? So those are things that we can use as interests, right? I'm interested in autoimmune because I have one. I'm interested in anything that has to do with scripture because I'm a Jesus girl. I'm interested in any other mom of 4 and how she manages the craziness in her life. So get really good with what your interests are, right? I have a child who's got an extra chromosome. I care about that. I want to talk to other moms who are dealing with the same thing. I love my boat. It's the time that my family and I go out together. It's why I started coaching in the first place, was because my first goal was to buy a boat for my family. So I want to see what other families are doing on their boats. I want to know where they're going locally to go have picnics and camping. So those are things that I'm going to write down. So I want you to write down things that describe you. And I wrote down 5 things, okay? So I wrote down, I'm a Jesus girl, I'm a mom of 4, I'm a boating mama, I have an autoimmune and special needs. So those are my 5 things. So now what I'm going to do is I want to be connected with other people that are going to connect with me because we have that same similarity. So I learned about a new website, write this down, called displaypurposes.com. And I will put the actual web address in the comments here. But basically, it's a pretty cool site. I've only used it from my phone. I have not used it from my desktop, and I'll tell you why. And I can't show you my phone because I'm actually live on my phone today because of my technical difficulties. But what I like to do is I like to plug in Jesus, okay? And it will spit out 30 hashtags that have to do with Jesus. I will plug in Mama 4. I will plug in boating. I will plug in autoimmune. I will plug in psoriatic arthritis. I will plug in these things and it spits out hashtags. So then what I do, because I'm doing it from my phone, I look at the hashtags and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that one. Then I go into Instagram and I start searching with that hashtag, and I'm sort of looking through the hashtag. Like, for instance, this morning I was looking at psoriatic arthritis, and I started following 7 women who look like me, who I probably would want to be friends with, based on the fact I saw they had kids, I saw that they, they are eating healthy, I saw that they've got like laundry and babies in their hands. Like, okay, that's like me. So I started following some of those people based on those hashtags, okay? So what I did is I have these 4 categories. The notes section of my cell phone is in the same folder of my social media. So when I go, and I did a post last night on a zucchini cashew soup that I'm obsessed with. It's a vegan recipe. I'm starting to promote little breadcrumbs of to be mindset. So I did the bowl of soup. Now, without the hashtags, the bowl of soup is not going to get a lot of likes. But what I did is then I have now a section of hashtags for faith, hashtags for nutrition, hashtags for working out, hashtag for being a mom, hashtag for autoimmune. And I save those hashtags that displaypurposes.com gives me, and I pick the ones I want, and I save the hashtags in the notes section of my phone. So when I go and I post a picture of a vegan bowl of soup, all I do is I post it, I get out of Instagram, I'm still in the same folder on my phone, I tap the notes section, I highlight the nutrition little section in my telephone, and I'll screenshot and show you guys what I do. I copy it and I paste it into the comments. And now I have, you're allowed to use up to 30 hashtags. So now I have hashtags that say clean eat, hashtags that say plant-based, hashtags that say zucchini, hashtags that say cashews, right? Just things that people might be searching. Now, the displaypurposes.com website is going to spit out hashtags. Those are hashtags that you want to use for your own posts. And ideally, you're looking for hashtags that have like 100,000 hits or less. It shows you how many, right? Like for instance, the word faith has like 7 million people that are posting using the hashtag faith. But if I use the hashtag Jesus lives, there might be 98,000. So I'm gonna pick 100,000 or less to use in my own posts, because then it's not getting buried as fast, right? If you're using a hashtag like fit mom, everybody is using that hashtag, you guys. So what happens is if someone else is trying to find you, you're getting buried so fast because 4 million people a day are using fit mom. So find hashtags that you can put in the comment section of your own posts that are 100,000 or less. And that is time consuming, and that is boring. At least it is for me to sit there. It's like a spreadsheet, you know? But if you want to get yourself positioned to prospect and connect with other people that are like you, you have to do the gritty, dirty work. Now, on the flip side, if I'm looking for people to follow, I am going to use the big hashtags. I'm going to use the words like faith and fit mom and stay at home mom and moms of 4. I'm going to use all of those that that have a surplus of people so that I can scroll down. In Instagram, you can search by hashtags. I can scroll down and I can start clicking on pictures of people that are scroll stoppers for me. Because if they're attracting me, then chances are I'm going to attract them. So once you get your own hashtags organized, and like I said, I'll show you how I do it. You might have a different way that you want to do it. But once I'll give you a screenshot. So once you have all of your hashtags done based on your interests using displaypurposes.com, then when you start posting, use those so people can find you. On the flip side, and this is what I'm about 10 days into, I set a goal and I haven't hit it yet. I am trying to follow 100 people per day using greater hashtags that have 1 million or more. So this morning I added 10 people using, like I said, psoriatic arthritis. Autoimmune is a very big one. Boating mom is a big one. You know, mom of 4 is a big one. So, and don't get discouraged, because remember, some of your hashtags are gonna pull up other Beachbody coaches, and you can tell in a hot second. If I see a picture of a chick working out on sliders, I'm skipping, because I know she's already doing 80-day obsession. Fitness instructor, that's another one that I do, because I teach Insanity. I'm about to start teaching PiYo. So, I'm not going to run hashtags on PiYo or Insanity, but I'm going to run hashtags on fitness instructor, instructor life, different things that Display Purposes has given me as hashtags for a fitness instructor. Irene's on, like, don't do a search on Country Heat. That's a Beachbody program. You're going to find people that are already plugged into Beachbody. Your goal is to try to find people, obviously, that are connected into fitness. I've been on a Vox chain with all the women who were at the leadership event. I am blown away by this TIU hashtag that I found. These women that are basically like buying protein powder from Target, and they're in this accountability group called Tone It Up, and no one is getting paid for it. Those are like examples of women who you better believe I am trying to follow, especially the ones who have children, okay? If you're somebody who doesn't have kids, obviously go after the single without kids. Okay, so you've got your 25 to 30 hashtags for every single one of your interests. You've got them in a section easily accessible on your phone, because you should never be posting on Instagram without putting in your hashtags, okay? And then these are also hashtags that you can transfer to your Instagram stories. So Instagram stories is so fun to use that there are some days where I'm like, wow, I've done like 15 Instagram stories, but I haven't posted on Facebook and I haven't posted on Instagram. You've got to be posting on Instagram at least once a day using hashtags, because that's how you're gonna get followers. Then you need to carve time out of your power hours, and you need to spend time following people, okay? Do not follow more than 15 people in 1 hour, okay? Because it's the same thing as Facebook. You can get put in Instagram jail. So I would make sure that you're very careful about doing that. So what I'm doing is I am just finding, like, I'm sitting watching May's swim lesson. It's a 35-minute swim lesson. I can watch her, and at the same time, I'm follow, and my goal is to just find 10 people. If I can find 10 people 10 times a day to follow, Monday through Friday, I'm in a good place, okay? In addition to that, now my news feed in Instagram is also filled with new people. So now my goal is to start commenting on those people's posts, okay? Instagram likes hearty posts. Instagram does not like just an emoji or like, get it girl, or hey, you're awesome. They want to see 5 words or more. And I think Irene did a training or mentioned this a while ago. This has been an algorithm for Instagram for a while. So the heartier the comments that you're leaving, the heartier comments you're going to get back. And just like in Facebook, when you're replying to people in your own thread, you want to make sure that you're asking a question, because then you've got banter back and forth, and the chances are is that you're going to get a response back to you that is over 5 words. So when I'm taking the time to follow 10 new people, then I quickly go through the news feed and I make comments on 10 people. So literally to do that, it takes longer for me in this point in time to follow people than it does to just comment, because I'm being pretty selective with who I follow. I do not use a spreadsheet, Irene, no. I'm sure that you could, but honestly, I'm gonna tell you why I don't use a spreadsheet in just a second. It's actually now 5 words or more, not 4. They bumped it. So, and emojis are okay as long as there are 5 words. Okay, so Monday through Friday, I'm liking 100 people a day. I've not reached that yet. I've only gotten up to like 60, and I'm trying to leave at least 50 comments, okay? So, and when I comment, people comment back, and a lot of times they'll follow me back. Now, what about the people that you start to follow that don't follow you back? There's a new app for that. There's an app that's called Cleaner for Instagram. You get it for free for 30 days, and then I think it's $2.99. I used it for the first time a couple of days ago, and it tells you, you basically run it, and it starts to show you all of the people who are not following you. Okay, so for instance, if I do the Cleaner for Instagram on a Saturday, if I do it every single Saturday, it gives all of my people a day at least to follow me back, right? I might be a little more flexible on the people I just started following on Friday because I do my cleaning on Saturday. So I'm cleaning it out. And the reason why is if I'm following somebody and I follow 50 people on a Monday and there's 25 people that decided that I'm not their jam, they don't like me and they don't want to follow me back, I'm going to unfollow them because I want to keep my Instagram numbers to be potential people that I can connect with. Pam, yeah, I always ask a question for sure. And I don't really focus on like how many words. It's just natural. Like if it's a natural conversation and I'm like, hey girl, I love your sports bra, tell me where it's from. I'm not thinking like, is this 5 words or more? I'm just starting a conversation, and then she'll reply back like, I got it at Fabletics, and I might reply back like, oh, I love that place. Some of my best sports bras are from there. And then she's probably going to go check out my profile, and she's going to make a decision in that moment. Does she want to follow me or not? So, so on Saturdays, I'm cleaning people out, and there have been a lot of people that I have started conversations with, and they do follow me back. And then there's been a lot of people that I start conversations with, and they're very polite, but they don't follow me back. So I will go through and I will unfollow at least like 50 people, because I do want to keep my Instagram preserved. After your first 30-day trial, when you have to pay the $2.99 or $3.99, it's something like that, it will also give you a list of who your ghost followers are. And your ghost followers are people that don't like your stuff, they view your stuff, they follow you, but they just are not, they're voyeurs on social media. I also unfollow those people, and I'm not doing it to be rude, but the only reason I'm spending time on Instagram is to grow my business. And yes, Irene, 100 100 follows and 50 comments is super time consuming, but that's just my goals, because my goal is to be a 10-star at the end of the year. So your goals might not be as aggressive than that, or your goals might be as aggressive than that. But I think as long as you check yourself and you're not getting too ingrained with like getting sucked into looking at people's profiles. I literally look at someone, I scan their profile, I look at their picture. It's like a 5-second decision. Am I going to follow them or not? And I know that some people will get stuck like reading through ones and all of a sudden 3 minutes have gone by and you're not even going to follow that person. You don't want to be spending that much time on this, because time will tell the more you're posting if they are commenting on your stuff or not. So try to just keep it very surface levels. Yeah, your followers should be bigger than the number of people you're following, which is a good reason on why you should be cleaning out your Instagram on Saturdays or whatever day you choose. You can do it any day of the week. So, any questions so far? That's like the gist of it, but I am gonna talk about how to bridge the gap between actually connecting with people. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so now you've got this routine down, and like I told you in the very beginning of this call, or this video, like I'm still very new to it, and yes, it is very time consuming. However, with Facebook's algorithm right now, I'm having a very hard time getting people engaged. So I'm thinking long term, like I have to put the time in to grow my Instagram. And keep in mind, when you get 10,000 Instagram followers, you have the swipe up option. So when you're in Instagram stories, you can be like, hey, bars just came out because April 7th is about to come. If you're interested in learning more about bars, swipe up. And when you do that swipe up, it will take you, you can put your actual Beachbody store, and when they swipe up, they're automatically in your store. You don't get that until you're at 10,000 followers. And I know that seems like, wow, I'm only at 500 followers. How do I get to 10,000? If you do this every day consistently, there are coaches that started off with 500 people and 3 months later they have 10,000 followers, because they're taking the time to invest in growing their Instagram market. And that might be the way that you are doing your inviting from now on. Maybe you're not doing inviting through Facebook Messenger anymore and you're going to do it through Instagram stories. Keep in mind, it's not going to happen in 2 weeks' time. You have to be diligent, and you have to, if you were on our call last night, you've got to carve time out in your schedule to do this. And the cool thing about something like this, I was at the dentist with all of my kids yesterday. When I was at the dentist, it wasn't any sort of time that I had allotted to do Beachbody, but literally I had 2 kids in the dentist chair. One kid was at gymnastics and one kid was on the laptop doing her homework, her Google Slides, and it gave me a chance, and all of a sudden, boom, I had 10 new friends, and I never carved that time out. So it's something that's sort of easy to do, where if you're just sitting somewhere waiting, it's like a mindless thing that you can do just based on your hashtags. Okay. So now I'm going to move into how to convert a lot of these people. So now you're starting to have conversations with people, and a lot of coaches get stuck with like, how do I invite them to a challenge group? I run 1 to 2 groups that are free every single month, and I pick things that I'm passionate about. So I just finished last week a group that was called Scriptures and Salad. I gave them a devotion every day, and I gave them a salad recipe. I used a virtual admin to help me out with this, so it wasn't too crazy. The only time-consuming thing for me was actually writing the devotion, but that was part of my quiet time anyway, so it wasn't like I was creating more work for myself, okay? So pick free groups that interest you. Go back to your interest list and pick groups that fall within those interest groups. It is much easier to invite somebody to a free group than to pay $160 for a challenge pack. Not to say that that can't be done, but you're gonna have more time to invite them to a free group and to build that relationship, and then transition them to a free group. So I just had my Scripture and Salad end. This is the week in between, and next week, what was that? Next week, I'm starting a sneak peek into a challenge group. So that is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a 3-day sneak peek into what is a challenge group. So everyone that just finished Scriptures and Salads, the month before it was One Pan, the month before it was Crockpot, all 3 of those freemiums that did very well and had between 50 and 80 new people, all of those people are being invited now into a my sneak peek into what a challenge group is. Oops, where did we? There we are. So I'll get into, this call is not about like the what is a challenge group, but my point is that it is a long process, right? To go through and find the people on Instagram and do your hashtags and find your interests and make sure you're being consistent with your posts and unfriending people on Saturdays and running freemiums and starting conversations and building those relationships. And then when you get them into a challenge group, then you have to wait a little bit of time until they have experience with Shakeology and they have experience with, the challenge group and the excitement of a really good group, which is why it's important to run great content in your challenge groups. Then you can start talking to them about coaching. And this can take a long time. Like Amanda just started Faithfully Fit Academy, and I think Amanda and I started talking in December, and she did some free groups with me, and then we waited, and she, I think she tried some of the workouts, and then she joined the challenge group, and then she did a few freemiums, and then I started talking to her about coaching because she was posting stuff about being vegan. She was posting her workouts. Those are coaching behaviors, and I planted the seeds with Amanda because if she's already doing those, she can do those things and earn an income while she takes care of herself. But it is now April, so that's almost 4 months' time of me having this dialogue and building a relationship before I'm going to talk to them about a challenge group or about a coaching opportunity or to be on our team. So that's why it's so important to be consistent with this stuff. And if you run a free group and then 2 months go by and you don't run a free group and then you do run a free group, that starting and stopping is freaking exhausting and it's going to delay your process. If you want to build a team, and I'm not saying that you can't go after the person that you don't know very well and ask them to a challenge group. I have certainly done that before. However, if I want to build the kind of culture on Team Faithfully Fit that I am proud of, it's relationship based, and that takes time, and that means that I have to be consistent. Do I like running freemiums every single month? No, I think they're exhausting, and I have learned by tracking all of what I do, I have learned that I am terrible at starting new conversations with people because I'm like, oh my goodness. Out of every 10 conversations I start, I will probably find one person that I truly connect with, that I truly want to work with. Because you do get to a point where you are able to really select who you want to work with. And sometimes the people I don't want to work with end up being a little bit of energy suckers, right? They're a little bit needy, or they don't want to put the work in, or they complain a lot, and that can be tough. And so I find it hard for me to start conversations, but if I don't do it, I will not grow. So it's a matter of really being, this is an Instagram training, but it's also like the piece of the pie, one piece out of like a lot of pieces that you have to be consistent with. So I take my people from Instagram, I invite them into a free group, I move them into Facebook, then I move them into a challenge group, hopefully. New person is someone I've never met before. Yes, Amanda. Or somebody, honestly, there's people that have signed up with me that I have known in my past life, but have taken years to get to a point where they're ready. But it's important to build the relationships with the free groups, and that's sort of how you're going to take your Instagram people and get them into Facebook and offer them value on something that you're passionate about. Okay, so that is a longer process. Let's say that you see somebody on Instagram who is totally inspiring you, right? They are just a person that you are inspired about. There's a specific message that person might have that might even not have anything to do with health or fitness. I'm not saying that I don't ever send like a cold message, right? Most of the time I get no's when I do these, but as long as it's genuine, I do not use scripts anymore. I do show scripts in Faithfully Fit Academy. We used to be big into scripts because the cold messages used to work. And I think scripts are important for a new coach just to hear different ways of presenting something. But then I suggest that you get out of the scripts and you sit and you write something that sounds like you. So for instance, I've been asking quite a few people to think about my challenge groups that I don't know as well, that haven't done a freemium with me. And I usually say something like, hey, so-and-so, I've been following you on Instagram. What I love most about your posts is X, Y, and Z. I can really resonate with it. And I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate it and I'm reading them. And I think that you're making a change in the world. And then I might say, this may or may not be something that you're interested in, but I wanted to talk to you about if you've ever considered coaching, or I wanted to talk to you to see if you wanted to take your, fitness instructing to a different level and try virtual to see if marrying the two could be beneficial to you. So I might carve something out that's a colder invite on someone who doesn't have a rapport with me at all. But when I do that, I really spend time crafting it. That's not something I would ever outsource. But that's really it, guys. There's two different ways that you can move people from Instagram into your world of running challenge groups. And that's, of course, like I've been talking about, like the longer process of building the relationship, or just being genuine and finding that person that's inspiring you. Instagram Live is what I'm going to end with. Not many people are using Instagram Live. Instagram is going to give your live feed a lot of attention if you're using it. So if you want to try going live, you'll see how much traction you get. So if you're growing, and if you're going live at least once or twice a week, all of those new people are going to get a chance to see you, because remember what I said in the beginning, not everyone even understands or knows how to use Instagram stories. So don't think that because you're doing Instagram stories, that's what's going live. If you were in any of the trainings from last night, we said you have to go live 2 times this week, and Instagram stories doesn't count because the whole world is not watching Instagram stories. But if you go live in Instagram, every one of your followers is going to get a notice that, Allison Brinkley is live, and they click on it because people are curious. They want a little sneak peek in your life. So if you were on one of those mentor calls last night, I suggest you going live on Instagram to check it out. Go live making a recipe. Go live, multitasking and getting your kids ready for school. Go live on what your Easter tradition is. Go live on your workout and what your toughest move is. Instagram doesn't save your live videos. I don't know, because you have an Android and I have an iPhone, so I don't know if it's different between the two. So I'm not sure. Okay, guys, that is it. I will post a screenshot on how I keep my notes with my hashtags, and I will also post the website that you guys can check out, as well as the cleaner for Instagram, so that you can do your unfollows. If you have any other questions, go ahead and just post them in this thread. I know there's a lot of people that are going to come back. I'm working for maybe 1 hour left today and maybe 3 hours tomorrow morning. I've got carved out 4:30 to 7:30, and then the rest of the weekend is Easter. So have a happy Easter. I love you guys, and I will see you on Instagram. Talk to you later. Bye.